does. Um, left them there painting, so hopefully I left them there. I left them there painting.
Yeah.
We didn't get due till about 5. Well, y'all.
Yeah.
What happened to Glacier?
He's been complaining about his shin. And Beck tackled him and he started complaining about his shin. I didn't know he left.
I saw his pads in the film room.
Huh? Hey, I started streaming.
What's the matter?
I just needed to
Oh, the mic.
tweak the mic.
Yep. 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 Can you hear me? Good.
You can put that on the ground.
Good.
Hey, with this crowd, we may not need the speaker. We don't necessarily need it.
There'll be more. Test 1, 2. Yep. Test. The Harrisons are in the house.
And good evening, everybody, and welcome to Buffalo Wild Wings. We got a decent crowd tonight out here. Football players are showing up. We've got Mom, and we got Mama P in the audience tonight.
And Carson.
And Carson. And, yeah, little Carson right there. You can see him.
You know, remember he ran on the field during the soccer game, remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. But welcome to the Eagles Nest Coaches Show. I'm Tom Bouchie with head coach David Perkins and John Wolf here. We've got a lot to talk about, offense, defense. We'll have a senior profile. We've got Carson Harrison.
Yep.
Been calling his name out for several years now, and time has come where he's a senior, making his way in his final year at Menard, and been making a name for himself for like 3 years now, right?
He has.
And then we got the Express Pro Lineman of the Week that we'll name, Security Sporting Goods Player of the Game and Play of the Game. But we want to start a little bit, if you're joining tonight and didn't get a chance to watch the game on Friday night, there's a reason for that. I tried to post it on Facebook after I got back home, but unfortunately for the first time, I've been calling games for 20 years, radio, and I think it's my 10th or 11th year as the voice of the Eagles. How long's Chris been at Menard? Because
about 7.
7. So 7 with Chris, because he brought us in. Lewis Love and I came in. Right. 3 years with JC, and now the second year with you.
So that's 12.
So 12 years that we've been with Menard. Not once in the 20 years. And certainly that includes the 12 here, have I been turned away at the gate and not been allowed to call a game. You know, and for some reason, the Oakdale principal, I don't know her name, but no need to call it out, but she refused to let us, show the game. Talking about the gate and protecting the gate.
Yes.
We don't even worry about that with home games.
We don't.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Everybody can bring their radio crew or their streaming crew and get after it. The more people see it, the better. That's the way I see it.
And I will have to say, being at the game, Menard brought a big crowd.
It did.
And the visitors' crowd was just as big as the home crowd, if not bigger.
Well, and we tried to explain that, 446 Sports has been around for 3 years now. And I think the only time that there's ever been a not being able to actually do the game at all was because NFHS. Let's turn that off. Hang on a second.
Yeah. So
around here,
Y'all
talk.
Yeah, you're talking about the NFHS network. Obviously, they're putting cameras on a lot of schools in Central Louisiana and around the state, for that matter. Mm-hmm. And they're doing contracts, with the online National Federation network. And they have contracts with those schools. And obviously, it's similar to like state championship games and different aspects you get to. There's licensing and things that go into that nature and money exchanging hands, and pretty legitimate reason on why they don't want a streaming service broadcasting that game over somebody else's channel.
But the fans do have the opportunity to watch that.
Absolutely.
Just
I mean,
like
you
they're
can pay
watching it on our stream.
You can pay, I think, what is it, $10
not
a
much.
year?
It's not
$10
much.
I think you can get a National Federation subscription and watch games from all across the country, not just Louisiana, if they have that service there. So, that is a legitimate reason. I believe Leesville has that. Leesville has National Federation. They prevent you from live streaming, and people know that.
They actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, allowed them to at least go up into the press box, film the game, and in that case, we record it. We record everything that we do, and we've had times where we've been trying to go live, but the hotspot was troublesome and everything was buffering. But that gives us the recording; it's clean. And then we're able to go back and rebroadcast it. We could have rebroadcasted the game and been up in the booth, but we were kicked out.
We were,
huge game.
And it's the people that are, at least for Menard anyway, that are out of state and out of city, for instance, like my son, he's in Norfolk, Virginia. He wasn't going to come to the game. He was going to watch it, though. And, and I got a lot of relatives from all over the country who watch. So, that's the people that have to suffer for it, and they're like, where's the game at,
We've had, I think it's 10 states that have tuned in over the course of the 5 weeks of games that we have had online, and folks who are sick, maybe injured players who couldn't make it, and then a lot of times
Go back and look at it.
we have the home team. Or the visiting team that's coming in playing us, their fans go back and watch it once they know we're there. And I do have to say this, as much as I'm giving the principal a hard time for kicking us out, I do have to take responsibility for the fact that I did not reach out to her. We sent a text. You sent a text for me to the coach to see if there was room for us in the press box, which is the normal thing that we do. But Oakdale's not a new team. We were there 2 years ago and filmed and went live in the press box. So there may have been a turnover that I didn't know about. So I've got to do a better job of reaching out to the school and letting them know that we're coming down. And maybe that would have softened her up a little bit. But she was angry from the start.
She made it perfectly clear she didn't want anything interfering with that big gate.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
We'll call Kinder.
Yeah, I'm definitely calling Kinder. Yeah, we will reach out to them. Avoyles will be in this week. It's homecoming week, so a lot to talk about there in terms of everything that's going on. In fact, probably a little bit of a smaller crowd this week that we've had because it is homecoming week. And want to shout out to all the coaches who are normally here and joining us.
They're busy
out here, but they've got a job they're doing, and look, I love Buffalo Wild Wings. I just had their barbecue chicken salad. Trying to eat healthy. It was
How was it?
It was great.
There
man.
you go.
It's great. The second time I've had it. It's hard to turn down the wings though.
Yes.
The traditional dry rub wings. That's what John had.
That's what I had.
But
I'm gonna get the wings too.
You go with them.
I go with the wings.
But but Corey Roy cooking.
He's cooking tonight. He's cooking some gumbo over there, and like you said, give a shout out to the coaches. That's where we practice till about five-ish, maybe a little after 5, and they got right on it. It's going to take them a little while. Dad, he takes care of all the food. He takes care of feeding the kids on Fridays after the game, before the game. And so he's cooking over there tonight, and they'll have them a little meal after they get through painting.
And he's been doing that for a while. In fact, when we started doing coaches shows, which was during JC's tenure, we started out in the field house with a really bad signal.
We did. I remember that.
and it's like the metal building was killing the signal, and
yeah, no, we had that when we played Abbeville. We had some steak.
Okay.
So they cooked that for us over there. So all the home games, someone's going to cook on. Usually it's Thursday nights, but obviously we'll talk about it later. Things going on with the homecoming, but
yes,
they're doing it tonight for us because of homecoming.
Because of homecoming,
right?
Yeah. So maybe one of the reasons, it is one of the reasons why we have a smaller crowd out here tonight.
Absolutely.
We are outside, man, and your kids are bundled up. The staff is going, y'all are going to be cold, and I'm like, no, we finally got football weather. I mean, it feels like football right now.
It does.
And I almost text you to say, you got like a double X jacket or something that you can
Probably could have.
I left mine at home. I wasn't thinking about it. It was in my car hanging the other day, and I took it out and I forgot to put it back in.
But you're talking about weather. I mean, fortunately this year really hadn't been that hot. I mean, week 1, week 2, I mean, sometimes, 98 degrees and just humidity. I mean, looking back on the games, I mean, how many times have we had pauses in play for people getting cramps? It's been very few. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know if we've had one.
Yep.
So we've been fortunate this year with the
well,
weather.
and that's a shout out too to Don Fields,
absolutely.
and the conditioning, that he's putting them through. That he puts you through conditioning too, doesn't he?
It works.
But keeping everybody hydrated. I think that's what we were kind of talking about with Abigail Davis, right? When we had her on a couple of weeks ago, and the help that she.
Oh, you're talking about Emma.
Emma Davis. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she was on. Yeah, and Don, but he puts them through a summer program that we have, and he puts them through that, and man, it is awesome. And Wednesdays during the summer, guys, these guys are like, Coach, we gotta, we have our work. This is how this works in the summertime. I have football workouts but then Don's going to have his workout. So that's 2 separate workouts, So that's like a 4-hour thing. But on Wednesdays, especially on Wednesdays, I have my workouts, and then they're going, Coach, we just conserve a little bit? Because when we get Don at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it's going to be rough, and it's pretty rough. But, it pays off like it's paying off right now. You rarely see us with cramps.
Well, I wanted to just kind of ask you a question. We've talked about it before. We suffered 2 injuries right off the bat in the same game. With Matthew Hicks and then Lane Evans.
Yep.
And then we lost
Moran.
Moran.
Yes.
In the game. Give us an update on them, just to kind of let people. I've seen Matthew getting around pretty good. Is he off the crutches and just walking around with the boot yet? Or?
Yeah, he just got off that boot, but all 3 injuries are obviously season-ending injuries, so they're all out for the whole season. Matthew is going to be the one who's going to be back the quickest, So he's a basketball player, so he'll be able to be back around January, maybe a little into January. So he'll be back then. But Lane, he's out. Now, I got a text from his dad yesterday. He's doing very well. He saw the doctor yesterday. He'll be out probably another 6 months, but he'll be out. He's a baseball player. He won't be able to play baseball, but he'll be able to start, the workouts for football during the summer. And, so he'll be back next year. And then Aiden Moran, who's out, he got an ACL. He got hurt in the St. Mary's game. And he had surgery last week, and he just got back to school this week. So, it went well. Obviously, he's out for the season also, but he'll be back next year. And, it's 3 tough injuries, and we talked about this last week. There's a 4th injury that we don't really talk about much, and that's the Nate Matthews, who's our kicker, and a really good kicker. And he would have been a defensive player, a safety type guy, and that was he got hurt during the summer playing soccer with an ACL, and he's out for the season too. So that's 4 really big injuries for a tight team that we have, where you don't have a whole bunch of numbers. Those are 4 starters, not just starters, but like 4 really good dudes. You lose Moran and you lose Hicks on offense, man. You got your best slot receiver,
right?
You got your running back right there, man, and it's tough, and you got to plug in for those guys.
What was it? Left tackle?
Yeah, Lane. Left tackle. It was just Lane.
Yeah.
Another big injury for us. So, I'm not gonna sit here and complain. I am gonna complain about it a little bit, but it really hurt us. But guys are getting to play, and it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off for us. And, right now we've plugged in the running backs, and we're going to try another running back this week, because we got to get T-Sam and Bracada and
a break.
Both of them, him and Parr. One's playing the Mike linebacker, one is playing a cornerback, man. And that's a little different than a lineman going both ways, because both those guys are running, they run 15 yards every single play or more. Every single play, and T-Sam and Parr are also on special teams. We got hurt on special teams last week on the opening kickoff. They ran it back. We try to have our best dudes on special teams, because we can't get hurt with the big plays. And I know we'll talk about the Oakdale game, but those 2 guys have got to have some rest, and we're working on that right now in practice, and we'll see.
Well, you bring it up. You basically got 4 starters, possibly playing, multiple sides of the ball, that are out to a school where you got a lot of guys going both ways to begin with, and 4 critical injuries like that. I mean, it can decimate you. It really can. It doesn't have to be at quarterback or what would you call a real skill position, but Lane on the left tackle and very valuable. You mentioned Matthew Hicks. I mean, he's a slot receiver. He's also probably going to be playing in your secondary somewhere.
Absolutely.
During the game, and Nate, the kicker, who's probably going to be playing somewhere on the possibly both sides of the ball too. Plus, he's a special teams guy. I mean, and then you lose Aiden in game 4 so it's season, starting tailback who was your workhorse the first half of last year, and carried the load for you. To a school, I mean, that hurts you.
It's a great point, and losing Matthew Hicks is like losing 3 people. Because you're losing your slot receiver, you losing your cornerback, but he was also our punter, at the time, and he can deep snap. He can do a whole lot. He can kick. He can do a whole bunch of different things, man. And he's probably our fastest guy. Him and Moran probably our 2 fastest guys on the team, and you don't have those guys. So now we're kind of delegated to, we got to drive the ball. We got to make first downs. You got to be almost perfect on offense. But, man, the defense is just playing, it's playing really, really well, and they're keeping us in all these games. And they're going to keep us in these games. And that's one thing that we harp on in practice, is as I like our defense, and they're physical, and they're able to play really well and keep us in these games, and we're going to have a chance to win. And even against the Oakdale, we didn't play well on offense, but we still were in the game right down to the end. Got a couple of turnovers, in the red zone, and we just didn't cash in.
Well, let's hold that thought. We'll run into a commercial break so we can get back and talk more about the game. But did I mention that we were not allowed to film the game on Friday? That the Oakdale principal didn't allow us?
You never went over that.
I didn't mention that?
No.
Okay. Well, that's
You're going to come back and talk about that?
That's the reason why we were not able to show the game.
I
think that's the last time I'll mention it. But we
go ahead.
We got some players that just walked up, and the organizational skills, are there.
They're
I love
good.
it. They sat down, and I muted my mic, and I said, "Hey guys, y'all bring that table over." And they looked over. Who's the fellow in the white shirt?
That's one of the Broussard twins
Okay.
right here. They're trying to be nice, is what they're trying to do.
He looks over to his brother, then he goes, "Hey, bring that table." Bring the table.
I might need
by
his
yourself.
cell phone number before this weekend.
All right, so we're going to go to a commercial
inside
break,
joke.
and we'll be back right after these messages.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks right from your phone, day or night, wherever you are or whatever you're doing. Download our mobile app today.
To better serve our Senlaw family, Wallace Eye Associates proudly welcomes Louisiana native Dr. Nicholas Bro to the Wallace team.
I definitely feel very lucky and fortunate to be here with Wallace Eye and just to be practicing in Louisiana, born and raised and trained here my whole life. So I do feel very fortunate to be able to give back to this state that has given me so much.
When it's time for cataract surgery, there's only one team, one focus, your vision. Wallace Eye Associates.
Yeah, so what happened out there tonight?
We struck out at home with leftovers, then we remembered walk-ons.
What effect did the situation have?
Spirit soared. Nick took on a burger. Jen obliterated her ribeye po' boy. And speaking of spirits, Laura even scored a real tasty cocktail. She needed that.
Any lessons learned today?
Yeah. Head straight to walk-ons.
Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers, and cocktails. Walk-ons for the win.
In central Louisiana, you might see me at the ballparks or soccer fields, or we might cross paths at the grocery store. I'm your local Farm Bureau insurance agent, your local expert when it comes to protecting what you love and depend on. I'm Jason Hall. Learn more about how Farm Bureau, real service, real people, Farm Bureau Insurance.
Check out some of our recent work at the Panthers Stadium. In addition to custom signs and banners, we also handle custom trophies, custom awards, custom vehicle wraps, and more. Give us a call. We handle projects large and small.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Harrell, Certified Residential Appraiser. I am currently a leading provider of appraisal services for mortgage lending, employee relocation, estate planning, and community property settlements. My experience in real estate over the past 13 years and currently serving as president of the Greater Central Louisiana Realtors Association has given me a clear understanding of the real estate world and the ever-changing market we live in today. For any of your valuation needs, give me, Kimberly Harrell, a call.
Are home problems turning your life upside down? Trust Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to save the day. From keeping you comfortable to plumbing repairs and even generators, we do it all. Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, your one-stop solution for AC, plumbing, and generators. If you need us to save the day for you, call Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing or visit us online at southernairnow.com.
And we're back live at Buffalo Wild Wings. We got a crowd. Oh, you know, I meant to get up and move that camera to show the some of the football team that's here.
They're slow. They're late. They're late arrivers.
That's all right.
Just like our crowds are.
They were working hard doing practice, and
they were.
And well, you know, isn't that just Catholics?
That is. Generally, it is.
I mean, I can say that because I am one. I go to Sacred Heart, and they always sit in the back.
Because they come in late.
Yeah.
Well, we had to get the message out. We didn't want to, mess our gate up tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
Woo, boy.
Had to do it.
Had to do it.
Did I tell you? Let's talk a little bit about the game since I didn't get to see it.
Sure.
You know, I had to go home.
Yeah, you
Did I tell you that?
You didn't have to go home.
That's true. I didn't. We actually caught up with Courtney at the school and dropped John off. So John and I drive together to Oakdale, and then we're not allowed in, and we come back, and John gets in the car and goes back to Oakdale.
Never been.
He made the trip to Oakdale, twice.
I've never gone to Oakdale twice in the same day.
Yeah.
Much less in the same hour and a half.
Probably not many people have.
No.
Not unless they went to work or something. But yeah.
I used to. Well, I was in Oakdale a lot with the pharmaceutical work, driving through there. It's a great little town, and
it is.
Anyway, moving on. Football game. Since I didn't get to see it, I'm going to lean on you two guys.
Okay.
I was getting texts from John, periodically, and the game didn't start out. You kind of alluded to it in the first break. It didn't start out the way you wanted it, or the way you draw it up.
Yeah, we. They did run back the opening kickoff, which, man, that's really frustrating. But put us behind there right at the get-go.
What happened on that? Was it was it a long kick or?
Well, probably down to about the 20 maybe.
Okay, so 80-yard return.
80-yard, probably about 80-yard return, and he didn't field it cleanly, and then had to go pick it up. And I was like, we got him, and then he kind of reverse fields and. We missed a couple tackles, and a couple of those guys over there missed a couple tackles, and he got up the field, and he was gone.
Isn't that kind of how a lot of times when somebody bobbles the ball, and you're not right on them at that point, you see that a lot, that they end up with a big return because it kind of pulls everybody out of their lanes.
You just brought it up. When you get out of your lanes like that, and I noticed, Coach, I'm sure you saw it too. I mean, you saw, 4, 5, 6 guys just kind of went left. Yeah. And got out of their lanes when he bobbled it, thinking, hey, we got this guy, right? I mean, he's kind of bobbling it. He's on that side of the field. We're going to close in on him. We're going to make a quick tackle. Next thing you know, he gets behind a couple of his blockers, and you're out of position, and it's just frustrating because you go, man, you preach that
over and
over. Stay in your lane, stay in your lane. It's kind of like, hey, on the backside, stay home for when they come back around. It's going to happen at some point, and I think that's kind of what happened there if you go back and look at that.
Yeah, and we kind of like want to pin them in one of the corners. We just think we're a little better that way. And another thing is a great point you made. When they see the ball on the ground, you're teaching it fumble, and they're all going, fumble, and he's got the ball, and they're like, and like you say, there's like 6 guys right there, and once he got clear of those guys, and he's one-on-one with a couple guys, and he just got up the field and went all the way, but. We're still in the game at that point, obviously. And then they had another big play. probably maybe 60-yard run on just a sweep. You know, we just fielded it wrong. Just hit the wrong gap right there, missed a tackle, and he went all the way. But, heck, you give up 13 points. The defense gave up 7 on special teams. You know, you got to be able to win. And I'll just be straightforward with you. You got to be able to win.
That was the one thing that I thought. You know, it was early on. I got the text from you, 13-0, and then wasn't a whole lot of updates afterwards because that was the final score.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, dadgum, the defense played extremely well enough to win.
Oh, absolutely.
With a special teams touchdown.
Sure, and good things. The good thing is that we dominated on defense, and especially in the second half. And then, you know, we did some good things on offense, you know, and you know, we talked about it last week. We're doing some new things on offense, and a lot of it went really well. You know, we just didn't sustain some of the drives that we had going, had some turnovers. Yeah. Had a couple big penalties on some drives that we had, you know, and it's tough for us to recover from getting behind the sticks. You know, not really a real great passing team to overcome that kind of thing, you know. So, but I thought we did some good things, and I think we'll build on that. You know, we've had some good practices this week, and if we kind of added a little bit to the things that we did on last Friday. And so a couple new things we'll do, and you'll see some of the same things. And I think we'll run things a little better. You know, we just had a week last week with that new system, and you know, so we got a little bit more time coming.
0 points, but there was improvement in the offense last week. I mean, you look at that last drive in the first half. I mean, we take the ball over around our own 20 or so, and we get it down to about their 25. Of course, the clock kind of became our enemy there at the end of the half. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, established a really good drive, put some good offensive plays together to drive that ball down to about their 25, 30-yard line. Had a couple of shots at the end zone, had a couple of good pass plays, had some receivers open here and there. And you know, pass goes a little different here or there, or receiver makes a spectacular catch. You could possibly be going in the half, you know, down by 6 points or so. With all the momentum, you get the ball to come out on the second half, and of course, you know, even coming out on the second half, you kind of built on that momentum. Unfortunately, a turnover bit us, but you know, I tell you what, there was improvement on the offense, and you look at a couple of those drives, there was something definitely to build off of.
Absolutely.
So when you're seeing this, you know, I know losing is frustrating, and I know it's frustrating to the guys because we're 2-4 now,
yes,
on the year, and this was the first district game.
Game, 0-1.
Yeah, so 0-1 to start the district. You know, the guys come in, you got homecoming week. Is that, I mean, we always talk about homecoming week distractions, you know, things like that, but it may be a kind of a good distraction to kind of just put that behind you and let's get ready for Avoyles, which is not going to be an easy task.
It's not going to be an easy task at all, and there's always distractions. You know, of course, coaches like to complain about homecoming and say they're distractions, but man, it's a part of the high school experience. You know, and it's one of the highlights of the high school experience is homecoming. They all, and not just the football players. It's for the whole school. You know, obviously football is generating homecoming, but it's for the whole school. You know, and it's been a whole week of stuff going on. And
not only that, it's for the alumni as well.
Absolutely.
Because last year I celebrated my 40th, you know, reunion.
And we have 84 coming, and 84's coming this year, you know, so that's their 40. Did I do that right?
Yeah, they're 40. We had the 50th tent, the 40th tent, the 30th, the 20th, and there were a lot of people at each one.
Yes, and we'll do the same thing, and so that's a big thing, you know, people come back.
And this year you got some distinguished alumni that they're going to recognize, you know, I think maybe today or tomorrow, and then again at the game.
Yep, absolutely. You know, we have our showcase tomorrow night, parade, those type things with this distinguished guests that we'll be having that are Millard alum. And those are some older people that are like, I think a couple of them graduated in the 60s, so they're older. But they'll be coming back. And, you know, and it's just interesting to those people who come back to Menard just to see how things are done now and just the changes. And, you know, a lot of, like the 84, we didn't play at Menard in 84 as far as football.
We were playing at Bolton.
Playing at Bolton and later I think over at Ash for home games. But so they never got to experience home games on campus, you know, and that's a big thing. And it's neat to them, you know. But if they could come see what style we're playing, how we play, you know, all those things, how the cheerleaders and dance line and all them look and perform. It's just the whole package. That's what homecoming's all about. Obviously, they have a homecoming dance. You know, they have after parties. They have they go eat and all that kind of things before the dance. So it's a whole week of stuff, and it don't bother me, to be honest with you. But there are distractions, here and there. They got to go do things, but we get our practice time in.
I remember my senior year, I was president of the student council, and Sister Michael Rose was the principal at the time.
Mine too.
And the year before, they had the seniors that stole the juniors float, which was ours, and they found it in the Red River. And then our class went and destroyed the seniors float.
Statute of limitations has run out, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Better watch that Menor Mafia.
So, they had it, but the floats were all raggedy because, they were messed up. And so Sister Michael Rose wanted to cancel the homecoming parade anyway, in 1983.
Wow.
So, we got together, Patsy Coleman, and I got together, and we walked in there and had a meeting with her to say, you can't, those people are gone. The seniors are gone. We're seniors now. We're growing up. We're not going to do anything to the juniors. But I said, we presented a plan that we would build the floats at the school, and not at people's houses, because that's how things got out of whack. Going to people's houses and destroying floats, waking parents up. They didn't have Ring alarms and Simply Safe and all that to catch them. It was just
things have changed.
Black, dark, dark out there.
I'm glad that never happened at Pineville High School in the 90s.
Right. But anyway, that's how, I guess, I don't know how long that tradition went on, building it
at the school.
Yeah, but I was asking John because he was telling me with Emily in school now that they're back to kind of building them at somebody's place.
Wherever. They just can build them wherever they can build them at. And it's been that way for a while.
Okay.
Yep.
It actually was kind of fun because we had to set up a schedule, and we put all the presidents of each class in charge of setting up their schedule so that people could go work on the float and miss a certain hour.
I bet they didn't mind that.
And go out there and work on the float.
Idea, huh, David?
That would work.
And
they get them floats done quick.
There was actually some decent floats.
Yeah.
Wow. You kind of simplify
and they put together
everything.
some good floats, so they're gonna look good. They're gonna roll down there tomorrow.
You still rolling down Windermere or
over on
Compton Park?
Yeah, and then coming back up to Menard.
Okay.
So we start at Compton.
All right. Well, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back right after these messages.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier. Transactions are getting safer, and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our mobile app today.
To better serve our Senlaw family, Wallace Eye Associates proudly welcomes Louisiana native. At Wallace Eye Associates, right now is the best time to have your cataracts removed. A new year means a new deductible, so if you're just not seeing as well as you used to, schedule your cataract evaluation today. It's fully covered by all medical insurances, including Medicare. You never need a referral at Wallace Eye Associates, and our method of next-generation cataract care is the most affordable in the state. There's only one team, one focus, your vision. Wallace Eye Associates.
In Central Louisiana, you might see me at the ballparks or soccer fields, or we might cross paths at the grocery store. I'm your local Farm Bureau insurance agent, your local expert when it comes to protecting what you love and depend on. I'm Jason Hall. Learn more about how Farm Bureau insurance can save you time and money. So talk to Hall at 318-791-HAWK and let me help you protect your biggest investments. Real service, real people. Farm Bureau Insurance.
Yeah, so what happened out there tonight? We struck out at home with leftovers, then we remembered walk-ons.
What effect did the situation have?
Spirit soared. Nick took on a burger. Jen obliterated her ribeye po' boy. And speaking of spirits, Laura even scored a real tasty cocktail. She needed that.
Any lessons learned today?
Yeah.
Head straight to walk-ons.
Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers, and cocktails.
Check out some of our recent work at the Panthers Stadium. In addition to custom signs and banners, we also handle custom trophies, custom awards, custom vehicle wraps, and more. Give us a call. We handle projects large and small.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Harrell, Certified Residential Appraiser. I am currently a leading provider of appraisal services for mortgage lending, employee relocation, estate planning, and community property settlements. My experience in real estate over the past 13 years and currently serving as president of the Greater Central Louisiana Realtors Association has given me a clear understanding of the real estate world and the ever-changing market we live in today. For any of your valuation needs, give me, Kimberly Harrell, a call.
Are home problems turning your life upside down? Trust Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to save the day. From keeping you comfortable to plumbing repairs and even generators, we do it all. Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, your one-stop solution for AC, plumbing, and generators. If you need us to save the day for you, call Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing or visit us online at southernairnow.com.
And we're back live at Buffalo Wild Wings. Got a new shot on the secondary camera. And Coach Perkins running camera now, trying to show some of the guys that are out here. Got a good crowd. The team is showing up. Got some parents.
Did it. Got him.
It's a terrible little tripod that I have. I usually use that one for the phone, but we got them. All right, we'll move it over. Don't worry about that, even if it falls, David.
Okay.
We're back. We're back here. Thanks for running that. I put it back. I put the shot back on us. That's Carson Harrison right there on the end of the table next to John Wolf. And I'm Tom Bouchie, David Perkins. This is the Eagles Nest Coaches Show with head coach David Perkins live at Buffalo Wild Wings. Carson, a senior at Menard, thank you so much for joining us and agreeing to come up here and visit with us.
Yes, sir.
This is our senior profile. I'll tell you, put that right on the mouth and talk into it. Yep. Okay. And you can speak up as loud as you want. It'll be fine because we want all the fans that tune in, whether they're watching live or come back and watch afterwards to hear. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Carson, and you know, your interest when you got interested in football and any other sports and things like that.
Well, I'm a senior at Menard. I'm on MAC team. I do track, soccer, and football. I play corner and safety sometimes. Just depends whenever they need me. And I don't know. My dad played football when he was in high school, and everybody in my family basically just played it. So I was like, well, I guess I'll play it, and I enjoyed playing it, and that's how it started.
I remember one of the first times that, you know, I called your name out during a game was, I believe it was the interception against Pineville.
Yeah.
It was a pick six, if I remember correctly.
It was on my mom's birthday, too, so it was like a little early birthday present for my mom whenever I got that. And I don't think we beat Pineville, like, 20 years or something like that in a long time. And yeah, that was awesome.
That was your sophomore year, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Because I broke my wrist my freshman year, and I wasn't able to play that year. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was a sweet play, and I enjoyed making that call. And then you turn around and get to beat them again the next year.
Yeah.
At Pineville High. Mm-hmm. I like to bring that up because the guy sitting next to you. Yeah. So, what's the favorite position that you have? That you like playing the best.
My favorite's probably safety, because I like because you get to hit more at safety. You go down and make more tackles at safety. You're not really playing back as much, and you don't have to really. You can just hit more at safety. That's why I really like.
How difficult is it for you, kind of jumping between the two? The two. I mean, are you doing that during the game, or is it from game to game?
Yeah. So for last game, Hunter, our safety, whatever that was starting, he was sick like all week. So I went in for him, and he kind of watched over me. So I would play there just in case. And then I just went to corner after so he can come in. It's just like if they needed a break or something, I would just go and switch. And if they have Parr also our corner, he got hurt 1 week, so then I went over to corner and helped that week, and they put somebody in at safety. So it's just whenever they need me, I go and play there. So
Carson's very, very versatile. He could go play the corner, either corner. He could go play either safety, free or strong. If we need him on offense, he could go play one of the receivers, X, Y, one of those. He's got great hands. If we need him to return a punt or a kickoff, he can go back and do that also. So he's very versatile. He's got great hands. He knows the game very well. So we're able to, and he's talking about sometimes we might need him at safety, sometimes we might need him at corner. And it's not really what Carson does well, but we're going to put him where we think the team will be the best. If we put him at corner, that means we're putting somebody else at safety or where maybe they're better served there than but he could do either really well. But somebody else might not be able to do that. So can't just stick somebody at corner or somebody at safety, but we could stick him at both.
Talk about the communication, that you have to have back there between corners and the safeties and trying to keep that straight as you're switching between positions.
Yeah, so they're kind of like the same. I don't really have to – well, I know each position, so I'll look over and I see somebody's, like, not in the right spot. I'll be like, hey, come over here. I just try to fix it and tell them. And then and it's sometimes when they ask questions, too, because we have Para, who's a freshman, and Brooks Jr., who's also a freshman. I can answer their questions and help them out, too. So it's also good with that also.
That's you kind of transitioned naturally. Great job, into where my next question was going to be, and that is playing in the backfield with those young guys, back there. I mean, what a season Para's having, right?
Dude, he's good. He's going to be good.
I mean, he's already got, 3 interceptions on the year, 2 pick sixes?
One-handed one, too. That was crazy.
And then tiptoed down the sideline, on that one. You talk about the relationship that you have back there with those guys, and you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but take us a little bit deeper into that. As a senior, those guys got to be looking up to you. You've been out there, for 4 years. Granted, you broke your wrist and had the problems as a freshman, but still, I mean, for the seniors, everybody always looks up to seniors. And
it's weird because I've always looked up to other people, and nobody's really looked up to me. So whenever they'll ask me questions, I'm kind of shocked.
Turning around.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that they're actually asking me questions, and it's cool. I like it, and I like helping them know what to do and stuff like that, and tell them where to go. And half the time, I ask them questions sometimes too, because I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. So they help me, and I help them out. So it's just a good little.
What are you seeing on the growth factor for those guys? Brooks and Para.
They're going to be
in particular.
Dude, they're already playing good as a freshman, so they're going Brooks, Para, and Aiden Birch are back. They're going to be good coming.
Yeah, and he's backup quarterback too.
Yeah,
and the deep snapper.
And tight end.
And he plays some tight end against Oakdale. I guess we didn't mention that. And you'll see him some against the Vols too. playing some tight end.
Okay.
You'll probably see him a lot playing some tight end.
So this is still the profile on Carson, so we're going to keep it focused on you. John, you got a question?
Yeah, so Carson, I played a little ball with your dad back in the day.
Yeah.
And now, your dad was on the offensive side of the ball a little bit and played a little quarterback. You're a defensive back, talking about corner and safety. Tell me how Saturday and Sundays go with you and Dad.
So my dad's he's kind of like an extra coach. He's always over there, and I can hear him yelling and hollering at me to
imagine that, huh?
You gotta stay back. You gotta protect and all this. He helps me out though. I like him being out there and helping me.
Yeah.
And whenever my dad always talks mess, he's always like, oh, if you were guarding one of my people, I'd have over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, or I'd pick you. And all this, and I'd just be like, oh, okay, I'd have 3 interceptions that game. And talk mess about that, but yeah.
I hear you.
It's a little good little.
And Carson,
sounds like the old Scotty.
Yeah.
Carson, you and your family are really good friends with an NFL player, right?
Oh yes, sir. Cody Ford, he plays for the Bengals. My dad coached him at Pond NFL player, so one time he came and stayed at our house for like a week or whatever during all off season for camp. And they were all like, you had an NFL player stay at your house? And I was just like, yeah, it's Cody. Like, it's not really,
right.
I don't know, it's weird, but it's cool at the same time.
He was at Sacred Heart Church. He kind of grew up in the church. Eddie Rabolet's grandson and Sherry still works in the office at Sacred Heart. And Mike Cady is that same age.
Yeah. I think Mark Rabolet was coaching at Pineville back then too, Eddie's son, right?
Yep. He was a college lineman at the time, or was, and came back and was coaching before moving on. He's a good guy. Let's talk a little bit more. I mean, you go beyond football as well. I mean, you just rattled off a whole bunch of stuff that you're doing, and then you still got to keep up with school, and grades. How do you fit all that in?
Well, this year's probably been definitely my favorite year for class-wise because it's senior year. So last year was definitely my hardest classes, and this year it's a little easier. And also I do MAC team. I love doing MAC team. That's one of my favorite parts of the days.
I want to explore that while you're there, and then we'll get into the track and go that route. Tell us about MAC and why it's such a great program.
I love it. It's like you go. We help them and we guide them to get closer to Jesus and God and stuff like that. And that's all. Basically, that's what you're supposed to do in life is lead them. And also makes my faith stronger. And it's made me get a bunch of new friends as well, closer friends. And I just love doing stuff like that.
Carson's my prayer leader at football. We pray every practice or after practice we pray, and I always have one of the players lead in prayer, and so I call him probably about 3 times a week to lead in prayer, and always after games. So he's very, very, very close to his faith, and that's a great thing. And the MAC team is
that's awesome. Yeah.
It's just a great organization, or it's not a club. It's just a great group of guys. It's a process, and they got to be interviewed, and they got to be picked, and it's a great thing to be on.
Is it only seniors, or when does that? Okay.
Yeah, it's so your junior year, the summer going into your senior year, you apply for it, and then I think I don't remember, but it's like a verification to where they interview you, and I think the teachers also decide whether they pick as well, and then you have to go to a retreat and then another retreat to finalize it, and it sounds like a lot, but it's really not, and it's worth doing, in my opinion. It's definitely worth it.
Absolutely.
Well, I know what you're talking about in terms of retreats. Even as an adult, the ACTS retreat is something that I was heavily involved in since 2009. Able to direct and team and all that. So, I mean, not only being there and experiencing it, that opportunity to grow with Christ, but then to go back and team is just something special, too, to watch. And you probably see the same thing when you're teaming. As kids kind of come in, you notice that maybe they're a little, I'm not going to participate. Come on, this is not me. But then some of those that are the hardest ones are the ones that end up, just spilling everything and creating that relationship. Talk a little bit about those experiences. You don't have to names or anything like that, but just watching that growth.
Yeah. So I tried to we've had all like the grades, we did 6th grade at OLPS, and then we did 8th grade. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? We did that. And
seniors.
And seniors, sorry, but we were in that one, so we didn't really get to, but we did that. And you can't really get too deep, so you try to want to say like service level, but also push them. Like obviously they're not going to go home and just be like, oh, I'm a changed person, and go get baptized and all this stuff. Obviously they're not going to do that. So I tell them to at least set a goal and try to open up and set a tiny little goal each day. And when you do that, you'll take little baby steps closer to heaven every day if you do that.
That's good advice, because we try to do the same thing, because you come out of there on fire, but then the real world hits you.
Yeah.
And there's so much noise that's out there to try to take you away from your focus. And if you have the relationship that you're talking about, that you have, you can get past that noise, because it doesn't really matter to you. Because the only thing that matters is the relationship you're talking about.
And obviously you're going to fall down the steps, but it's always how you get back up keep going.
That's
Absolutely.
right. And you end up having a broken wrist or something like that. I mean, that's something that, you draw on that faith to be able to get you through that. Briefly talk about the track. I heard your mom, Nicole, is here. We ran and crossed paths in the pharmaceutical sales world for many, many years. But you finished 5th, was it?
Yeah, I got 5th in state in pole vault last year, my first time doing it. I decided to do track because, well, first of all, my dad made me do track to get faster for football. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't really want to do it. And then my sister, Cammie Harrison, she's like really good at pole vault, and she got 1st in state last
champion,
year.
right?
And I was tired of all the people going, oh, your sister's state champion, and all this stuff. So I got mad, and then I started doing pole vaulting in spite, just so I can say I jumped higher. And I think we're tied right now. Are we tied? Yeah, we're tied right now. No? She's beat me? No. Okay, well, she's 6 inches
the higher?
Jumping me,
higher jump?
Well, y'all got a whole
year. I jumped
year.
11. She jumped 11.6. So, yeah, that was my first year. She's done it for 4 years, so I think.
Oh, that's right.
I like that family competition.
That's great. That's good stuff. Outside of all of that, graduation's going to hit in May.
To Franciscan University in Baton Rouge to become either like a nurse practitioner or a physician's assistant, or just be or LSU is another school I'm looking at, and maybe UL as well. I don't really know, but those are definitely something medical. I want to help people and make them feel better. And
that's great.
Like that.
Your mom's going, go get that nurse practitioner or a PA and come back here and write some scripts. Just make sure you're the right patient population that she can call on. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations. I really thoroughly enjoyed, the conversation. You guys have anything more for Carson?
I like to hear about you and Dad on Saturday and Sunday there. We'll have to talk about that further later.
All right, so we're going to go to a commercial break, but before we do, what did you do to get your homecoming date?
Well, I've always liked this girl. It was sophomore year. I was scared to ask her anything. It was Ainsley Fowler. I was always scared to ask her. I was scared to talk to her. And then I finally one day I was like, I'm going to just do it. I walked up, I asked her, and she said no. And she was like, I have a boyfriend. I was like, dang. But I think she felt bad for me, so then she was kind of like, I guess I'll go with you. And then somehow it just 2 years down the way, it's been working. So I guess
that's great.
He has a girlfriend.
Yeah, okay. All right. So you didn't have to do anything. It was like, I know who I'm going with.
Yeah.
So did you get the confidence after the pick six in the Pineville game? Is that when you walked up and asked her?
It boosted a little bit. Definitely.
All right, appreciate it. Good luck this week in homecoming. Have a great time, but more importantly, stay safe. And good luck in the game Friday night.
Thank you all for having me. Thank everybody for out here watching on the internet. And I want to shout out my brother, Cannon. He's in Baton Rouge watching right now, and shout him out. And thank you all.
All right.
Thanks, Carl.
Appreciate you being here. We're going to be back with more right after the messages.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks right from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing. Download our mobile app today.
At Wallace Eye Associates, right now is the best time to have your cataracts removed. A new year means a new deductible, so if you're just not seeing as well as you used to, schedule your cataract evaluation today. It's fully covered by all medical insurances, including Medicare. You never need a referral at Wallace Eye Associates, and our method of next-generation cataract care is the most affordable in the state. There's only one team, one focus, your vision. Wallace Eye Associates.
And we are back live at Buffalo Wild Wings. About to wrap it up. Just about a minute and a half to 2 minutes before we say goodbye. Another week 6 of the Coaches Show. Man, this David, week 7? No, we did it after the first game, didn't we? After the Jamboree, so that would be week 7. 7 weeks of the Coaches Show.
It goes by quick.
Man, I turned 60 and I can't count. or remember. That's probably
I'm
more
right
of
there
it.
with you.
So, hey, it's flying by.
It is. Always does.
Got Avoyles coming up, but let's just do one little thing here. I got to find it. Express Employment Professionals in Alexandria, Louisiana. The Express Pros player lineman of the week. David, tell us a little bit about the lineman.
Let's go with Carson Albanian. He's
two Carsons in a back-to-back.
Yeah, he's a sophomore. Kind of took over at the guard position. We moved some people around after week 1 and week 2, so he came in. He's doing a really great job on offense. He will spill in a little bit on defense and play the defensive line a little bit, but mainly we've got him to sit there on the offensive line. He's doing a great job, so we'll give it to him this week. All
right. Get back and show a little bit of the crowd. The guys are starting to head out. They got to do some homework. It's a big, busy week this week with homecoming. Security Sporting Goods player of the game.
We're going to go with Jack Roy. Jack, he's our starting center. He's a senior. Been doing that for a long time for us, but we here recently have put him on the defensive line a little bit, and he's doing a great job there. He had a fumble recovery against Oakdale. It was big at the time, could have got us right back in the game if we would have scored. So we're going to give him the player of the game.
And speaking of that fumble, the Southern Air Cool play of the game is the fumble recovery that you talked about. And it's a shame we don't have any video of that fumble recovery.
What happened?
Did I not say that we weren't allowed to film the game and do anything at Oakdale? We were kicked out.
I don't think
Did I mention that?
I don't think you'll be there in 2 years.
Yeah.
But that's why we don't have the video or that's why I had to depend on you to be able to share that with me because I wasn't able to see it.
Certainly.
So looking forward. Hey, am I going to be able to get in the game this week?
We're going to let you
and go up in the press box?
We're going to let both of y'all come and do that game.
All right, perfect.
Absolutely.
Perfect. And the gate's going to be huge.
Interview me? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and just real quick, it's against Avoyles. Obviously we've been playing Avoyles for a long time. They don't have Coach Boone, but they still run that double tight, double slots, I think we've done really well against that, but that's not all they're going to do. If you're shutting that down a little bit, they've got other formations that they're going to go to. They'll put 2 guys out wide, and they'll do some other things. So we got to be ready for them. They're really fast, and they do what they do well.
All right, that's the update. That's going to happen Friday. Homecoming. Come out to the Holy Savior Menard Eagles Nest and watch the game. Kickoff at 7 p.m. We'll be on the air about 6:35. Do a pregame interview with Coach Perkins on the field. John usually goes down there and conducts that. That usually is about 6:40 that we'll do that. So we will be live at 6:35. Looking forward to it. Typically when you talk about Avoyles, you talk about no kickoffs, but that's kind of changed. You're not expecting onside kicks every time, right?
They'll do it the first time for sure. Sometimes when they get ahead, they'll kick off. The way.
They will do it to start the game, too.
And they're not always going for it on 4th down either.
So the Eagles, that's a touchy subject with John.
That's a touchy subject. That's a little inside one right there.
I was on the call for that one, too. And I'm just glad John's with me in the booth.
It happens.
John Wolf, one of the finest men around. So is David, but John, a great official.
Absolutely.
Over a 2-decade period. And he brings such class and knowledge, of the game and of the officiating side of it too, to the broadcast. So, tune in for the game and listen to John and David. Good luck. John, final words?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Homecoming week. Got the parade tomorrow. We got a raffle still going on. I think they had a drawing today,
we
right,
did.
Coach?
Another $1,000
Who
given
won?
away.
Do you know who won that? You remember?
They said the name, and no one really
wasn't John
recognized
Wolf,
it. So it
was it?
wasn't John
Okay.
Wolf. It wasn't David Perkins.
Yeah.
So I know it wasn't us two. So I'm not sure, but yeah, that was our third one, and we'll give away the big one here pretty soon.
Right. So homecoming parade tomorrow. In and at the school. Of course, got the big game coming up Friday. And look, homecoming, man, it seems like to me in my years of calling ball and playing, it's physicality. It comes down to homecoming. Yeah, you got the X's and O's, but who's going to be physical, right? Who's going to step up? Who's going to be physical? Who's going to man up and say they want this game? And I think when you look at Menard, you look at Avoyelles, it's going to come down to physicality.
It is. It's going to come down to that and maybe a turnover here or there, and it's going to be physical. We talked about it. Especially in the defense and offensive lines. That's where the game's going to be won. So, yep.
Well, good luck. We're looking forward to it. Avoyelles has put a lot of points on the board, but
that's their style.
The defense that Menard has been playing recently has shown up and is there. So see if we can put some points on the board this Friday night and come away with a homecoming victory and be 3-4 on the year and 1-1 in district. That's going to wrap it up for the Eagles Nest Coaches Show here at Buffalo Wild Wings. Thanks to the staff and everybody that's been helping us since John and I got here, putting everything up and taking care of the guys that are here. Thanks to the team members for coming out tonight and the parents and Mama P and Carson down there. Little guy, I think he had macaroni and cheese tonight.
He did. He loves macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, so does our Teddy.
That's the boss.
He loves that. Hey, I'm Tom Bouchie for John Wolf, for head coach David Perkins. This has been the Eagles Nest Coaches Show live from Buffalo Wild Wings.
Go Eagles.
Good night, everybody. God bless.